Hey guys, what's up? This is Mel, and I'm here to talk about The Flash, episode 304, titled The New Rogues, which premiered Tuesday, October 25th, 2016 on the CW. Guys, quick reminder about my videos. I'm recording this within the same night that I watched the episode for the first time, so you are getting my genuine first impression thoughts about it before any outside influences get to me. Also, the only thing I own in this video are my thoughts and opinions, and if I ever put a picture of my face on it. Otherwise, all the photos used to make the video look more visually appealing can be found through Google. I just edit them on Photoshop to give the video series a more unified look. So this is just made for fun, no profits being made for this. This is just fun little thing for me to go back and see if any of my predictions ever panned out later on the season. So with that said, let's start with the 10-minute clock and let's begin. So something new that we learned in this episode. So the meta-humans of this episode are Mirror Master, aka Sam Scudder, and The Top, aka Rosalind Dillon. They were part of Captain Cold's old crew. So we actually see a flashback to 3 years ago, right around the time the particle accelerator exploded for the first time, and we got to see Captain Cold about to kill Mirror Master and The Top for wanting out of his crew, because as we remember, no one really, either you're in his crew once recruited, or he kills you off so that you don't go spilling his secrets and stuff like that. So there is that. Also, we get confirmation in the present day that Barry knew from Oliver that Captain Cold had left town. He doesn't go into specific details because Joe doesn't want to hear about it, but we do hear that Barry is aware of that. So there's that. So for Mirror Master, after the explosion, he finds himself trapped in the mirror, and he doesn't get out until 3 years later, present day for us. But for him, it feels like just yesterday that he was trapped inside. So once he finds a way to break out, he goes and finds Rosa, and he breaks her out of prison, and they go on their little thievery together. So as we know, the Mirror Master can travel through reflective surfaces, while I believe The Top, she can distort the reality around a person. It reminded me of kind of like the funhouse mirrors, how it kind of distorts everything around you. So there's that, which really messes with a person's perception and balance. So there is that. So throughout the episode, we see Barry training Jesse. And she comes along when he has to fight off Mirror Master and The Top. However, Jesse disobeys one of Barry's orders, which indirectly leads Barry to being trapped in the mirror. So there's that. Only way to get him out was to freeze the mirror so all the molecules would be solid enough that he could phase through it. Dr. Wells and Cisco try to make a device. It doesn't freeze as well enough, so Caitlin secretly uses her freezing power to allow for Barry to phase through the mirror. Dr. Wells kind of has suspicions about this at the very end when he tells Cisco that their device didn't work. Because you actually see when Cisco asks, like, well, who let Barry out, or how did Barry get out? Dr. Wells looks to the side where Caitlin is standing. So while we know that Dr. Wells knows about Killer Frost on Earth 2, it's unaware if Flashpoint affected Cisco's knowledge of Killer Frost or not. So there's that. Also, while they're dealing with the metahumans there, we actually see the Flash team looking for a Wells replacement, since he has to go back to Earth 2, but the team feels like the team isn't complete without a Dr. Wells. So they pretty much call out for auditions across the multiverse, and they end up settling on Harrison Wells from Earth 19. He likes to be called HR. So he is actually brought over to Earth 1 at the end of the episode, just before Dr. Wells and Jesse go back to Earth 2. So there's that. Also, this episode shows Joe telling the Flash team about Edward Claris's death by an invisible force inside his cell. And we get confirmation that there was no tampering with the footage. So now they got to figure out if that's truly Dr. Alchemy or if it's some other force at play here for them. We also see Barry struggling to adjust to his relationship with Iris. Mainly whenever Joe is around, that's where it kind of gets awkward. But mainly has to do with the fact that Barry has never felt this happy in his life. He doesn't want to ruin it. which kind of brings all his insecurities and anxiety for the change, despite Iris wanting to move forward as if they're a regular couple. But one thing Barry decided to kind of help things along is to move out of the West family home. So I guess in this timeline, Iris is still living at the house with her father and with Wally and with Barry, technically. So I guess now that he's moving out, it's kind of like that extra step to kind of finalize the fact that they are together, so without making it awkward. So there is that. This episode also shows 2 kisses between Jesse and Wally as they bond. First kiss was initiated by Jesse. Wally kind of turned her down due to the fact that he was scared of what would come of it, since they're from 2 different Earths. And then the second kiss was initiated by Wally. So there's that. Also, on another relationship front, we see Joe getting asked out to dinner by D.A. Cecile, though he rain checks it to spend time with his kids, though. But it seems like they definitely have a possible good connection going on between there. Not sure why this version of Joe is taking a step back, or if it has anything to do with the same Joe in before Flashpoint. No clue. But there's that. Also, at the very end of the episode, we see Caitlin's powers advancing. While taking a shower, she freezes everything around her, and then when she comes out, her lips are blue, and she has a strand of white blonde hair that she immediately cuts off. So that's pretty interesting in itself. But moving on to the most shocking moment of the episode, the idea that they will be recruiting a Wells doppelganger. I didn't think they would even suggest doing something like that, but I thought that was pretty cool. And then we got to see, anyway, I'll go into that in a bit, because moving on to top 3 favorite moments. First one has to be all the doppelgangers we got to see of Dr. Wells through the hologram audition videos, and then also when the 2 Dr. Wells came face to face, or I shouldn't say Dr. Wells, because we're not sure if Earth 19 Wells is a doctor or not. So when the 2 Harrison Wells came to face, Earth 2 versus Earth 19, Harry and HR, from the sounds of it. So it was pretty interesting to see the huge contrast between the 2. I wasn't expecting that, but it'll be interesting to see what HR has to offer and what exactly his quirks are. Apparently he's funnier than Harry, or he at least has a funny side to him as opposed to Harry. So there is that. Next favorite moment for me has to be Barry teaching Jesse how to be a speedster, especially the part where he's actually quoting Oliver before he realizes that he's quoting Oliver. So as we remember back in season 1 of The Flash, we see Oliver trying to teach Barry how to be a hero, or how not to go into a fight blind in episode 108. And in this episode, we actually kind of see Barry repeating those lessons back to Jesse without even realizing it. So I just thought that was funny. And then that moment of realization that Barry had, and the fact that, oh, I've become like Oliver, and then he's just laughing about it, was pretty funny in itself. Next favorite moment for me has to be Caitlin Snow and how her powers are advancing. I think it's pretty cool. I'm glad that they are acknowledging that. I'm a little bummed that no one else on the team has picked up on it except for Dr. Wells. But yeah, I wish he would confide in somebody instead of going at this alone. So there's that. Last favorite moment, though, was Dr. Wells' introductions of the Flash team to HR, and then his goodbye specifically to Cisco. They got a hug. They're really going to miss each other, and I really like that dynamic. I'm definitely going to miss this version of Wells, but I hope we get to see him again. So moving on to top 3 peeved moments. First peeve that I have was Jessie disobeying Barry. Good thing is, at least she learned the lesson, and she kind of beat herself over the fact that her disobeying Barry led him to being trapped in the mirror because he was saving her. But it just really bugs me that the student doesn't trust the teacher. As long as they learn a lesson after it, then I'm kind of okay with it, because sometimes you gotta make mistakes to learn from it before you really sink in what the lesson is from someone else. But it's not just on this show, on other shows too, where they have the student questioning and rebelling against the teacher. I never understood or the older figure. Never understood that, because you're supposed to take note from the experienced one. You're not supposed to defy them. You're supposed to learn from them. Otherwise, you're just going to make things worse and stuff like that. So at least she learned something from it. It's not that much of a peeve because of that. But the fact that she disobeyed Barry meant that this whole problem came about. And if she just listened, he wouldn't have gotten trapped in the mirror. So there's that. Also, another peeve thing about Jessie Quick, we got her name this episode, was that she needs a better identity concealer than a simple mask around the eyes. She doesn't even... Like, I said this before back on Arrow when they came to the recruits mask, but, like, even... Her suit's awesome, don't get me wrong. But the fact that she has nothing covering her hair, nothing else covering her face, it's just... At least with Barry, you can't tell what hair color he has. You can't really tell what color his eyes are unless you get really close and he's not doing that whole phasing thing with his face. But with Jessie, she doesn't... I know she's not going to wear a wig because that's going to easily fly off. But the fact that she doesn't cover what color her hair is, it really bugs me, because that's another identity marker that's already known to her enemies. I mean, it's just, she could have a better mask. Her suit's awesome, but the mask could definitely be a bit better in hiding who she is. Because like I said before, technology today, if they're able to catch them not running at super speed, then they could easily capture the face and then just digitally take out the mask and nothing else, if that's all that's covering her face. Anyways, what moment I remember most when I look back on this episode? The fact that we got 2 Wells in this episode was pretty cool, and the fact that we got to see the speedster training between Barry and Jessie. I like that. Random questions though. First, how long has this power routine happened with Caitlin? Was this the first time she ended up freezing everything in the shower? Lips turning blue, and then her hair turning white blonde. It kind of looked like she was freaked out. Well, in a way, she kind of looked like she was freaked out, but then on a level, she kind of looked like, oh, I can't believe this is happening again, and she's like, immediately does actions to rectify that. So I don't know. It has me very curious, though. And I'm wondering if this is what happened to Killer Frost back on Earth, too. We'll have to see. Next question. Will we see Dr. Wells and Jessie again? Will they come for a visit, or are they going to stay in Earth 2 and fix all the damage that Zoom had caused? So there's that. Next question. What are the chances that HR is good? In the past, we know that 2 versions of Harrison Wells didn't really come off as first... Well, I can't really say that. Earth 1 Harrison Wells came off as a good guy, but was really a bad guy in disguise. This one came off as a good guy, masquerading as a bad guy, but then turned into a good guy when his cards have been forced. So I'm wondering if we're going to get the same thing about this version of Harrison Wells. Moving on very quickly to the predictions. Sorry, tongue-tied. But based off the promo for 305, it looks like there are going to be suspicions against HR, mainly from Cisco. Thinking something's not right. And apparently there is a monster storming the city, like an actual creature, Godzilla size and stuff. So there is that. Based off the synopsis, though, it looks like Caitlin is going to turn to her mom for help with understanding her powers, and old wounds between them will resurface because of this. And also looks like Barry tries to convince Julian to let him help with the latest metahuman case. I think I combined their 2 names by accident. So there's that. But new questions or predictions from all that, I think we're definitely going to get Caitlin's backstory. We kind of got a bit of Killer Frost's backstory from Earth 2, but we're going to, I guess this time we're going to see how similar the 2 go hand in hand. We got a bit of Caitlin's backstory in last season when she was on Earth 2 before Flashpoint happened. So I guess we're going to see if anything else has changed with that and add on to it. Also, we may possibly get this version of an origin story for Killer Frost. Is there a name for her so that she's not Killer Frost? Maybe using her powers for good. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Question. Will HR be as trusting and friendly as his first impression? I guess that kind of goes with my previous question. But hopefully, yes. The promo definitely shows him in a very humorous light. So there's that. And also, last, will Joe go on that rain check dinner date with Cecile? I want to see Joe having some fun with his own personal life. So it'll be great to see that. And that's about it. So what did you guys think of the episode? What did you guys like about it? What do you think is going to happen next? Let me know in the comments down below. I love to hear it, as well as your own predictions as what's to come. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check out my other videos if you haven't done it so already. Also, if you want to check out my Tumblr page, the link for that is down below. I reblog promos, web clips, quotes, gifs, synopses, all that as best I can. So if you want to keep up to date with that, follow me on Tumblr. It's also connected to my WordPress page, which has more of an organized setup of how you can find things through my Tumblr or through my YouTube channel here. So follow me there or check me out there if you want. And that's about it. So thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you come back next week to hear what I have to say about the next episode. But until then, guys, this is Mel. Wishing you a great day, great week where you are, and enjoy your Halloween weekend. Bye, guys.